And if Biden will officially be announced as president, do you have any hope for the future? No. But it looks like that Biden will be announced, is it? No? So
I
you
don't think
hope.
so.
Okay.
It will be Kamala, I think.
Pardon?
I think it will be Kamala Harris.
In Harris.
Kamala Harris, the vice president.
Okay, yeah, probably because this guy is a little bit out of his mind. He seems to be sick, seriously sick. Yeah. And I think if you ask Google, who is the president of the United States, Google also talks about Kamala Harris, something like that. Yeah. Okay. So we ended here yesterday, and yes, there's a little video in German you do not understand in English, where the philosophy of Karl Popper is um, turned 180-degree around. And so I found this video, and in this video, it was put in words that Popper was to make small steps forward to improve theories. And this is 180-degree around what I told you yesterday. And to connect Popper with little steps, 2 years after that interview I'm just talking about, Popper died. And there's a quotation of Popper: "You have the duty to to criticize yourself. You have to learn all the time. You have to make small improvements in your judgment and in your theories." And I showed you yesterday that Popper, all about Popper was to kill theories. That has nothing to do with small steps. However, in this article from this news magazine, Der Spiegel, Popper was declared or explained as he was a proponent that we have to improve things by little steps. And that is absolutely the turnaround of what Popper actually teached. And then I take this quotation and put it into Google. And that's now German. I don't find anything in English. So it's all about to have small improvements of your attitude, of your thinking, of your judgment, of your theories. So small improvements, small improvements, small improvements. And for students these days, it is very difficult to really get a grip on what Popper actually taught. And if you make your research in the internet, you will always be fooled. It will always say you have to make your small improvements. And so I worked with this scientific theory of Karl Popper about 20 years, or more than 20 years. And this has nothing to do with Popper. Then I put this quotation again into Google, but without small steps. without the word small. And without small, I found the exact quotation, but without small. And interestingly, Popper died in 1994. And here you see a quotation from 1991. And when you go into the original literature, you see this quotation without this word small, and its original was 1965. If you go back with this research, with this word small, you just find quotation after his death. So 2003, 2013, 2013, 2013, 2011. So it's interesting to see that after his death, the original theory of Karl Popper was killed, more or less, by putting the word small in. But all about scientific theory, or the growth of scientific knowledge, is about to make huge steps and not small steps. We have to kill old theories. A theory which is basically wrong, you cannot improve by small steps. So you have to kill it and establish a new theory. And you know, this is the original quotation from Karl Popper, that you have to improve your theories all the time. And the fake news quotation is that you look for small improvements. So you cannot improve something by small steps. But by small steps you can deteriorate the things. And if you're looking out there, the things are deteriorating in small steps. You have to wear a mask, you can't go out, you are limited by all kinds of things in small steps. And if you want to break free, we cannot do that in small steps, but in a huge jump. Do you understand that? And what now happens is that really the knowledge, the findings of our thinking guys, of our philosophers, was just turned around. You cannot improve things by small steps. By small steps you only can deteriorate the things. So the question is scientific thinking destroyed on purpose? Is it possible that students these days at university, in college, are taught wrong scientific thinking? That more or less scientific thinking will vanish from the face of the planet? Because philosophy, our books, are turned around. So they destroyed science. They destroyed scientific thinking. They destroyed logical thinking. They destroyed our knowledge about logical fallacies, about grammar, about listening to other people, about rhetoric, what rhetoric is all about. So the question is, do we live in a pseudoscientific age where science is actually killed and we are living in a cluster of dogma? said our new religion is a religion of scientific dogma. And we have again to break free by using scientific thinking, by using logical thinking. Okay, to put Popper in a nutshell, we have to construct a model of reality in order to explain the collected data facts, also known as we have to speculate, assume, theorize. And in the novel 1984 from George Orwell, this is Orwellian newspeak. When we use scientific thinking, it is more or less a thinking crime. Is it possible that we enter an age where it is more or less forbidden to think? We shall accept the things they tell us, and we shouldn't think our own. Are we really now in the age of 1984? Okay, I'll put it in the words of Oscar Wilde. The well-bred contradicts other people. The wise contradicts themselves. It is important to be critical with us, with ourselves, and we have to contradict our old thinking, our old theories, our old assumptions. We have always to be open for new theories, for new model of reality. And when we want to break free now, we may have to think outside of our box, because common thinking will not free us. By common thinking, we are stuck in our box. Do you get that? So by normal thinking, we have to go on the street and protest and making stuff like that. But this will not help. This will not bring the things forward. We have to get outside of our dogma box, the box I've shown you yesterday. So we will not find the optimal solution to connect those 9 dots with 4 straight lines. We have to look outside of our box. And the question is, how do we get outside of our box? Do you have any idea? Because our box is more or less our brain, our representation of reality inside of our brain. This is our challenge. We have to get outside of our box. Do you have any idea how to get outside of our box? Karina, you're very smart, tell me.
I got inspired when you said that it's not the time right now to feel ashamed or to look on your image. So I was always critical. So I was always confronting people. I was always expressing myself. But right now, I really express myself wherever I am. When people are talking to me about their problems, their, I don't know what, they are also assuming that I am interested. So before all this crisis, I was always like holding back because I thought not everybody's open for that. But right now, I don't care if they're open. they're supposed to be open. So
Yeah,
if I have to shout at them, I will do that. But just like them, I'm not ashamed to talk about the things that really matter, because nothing else matters right now.
exactly. So this is one thing, to be not ashamed, and this is something about our attitude of about our value system. But how is it possible that anybody may start thinking outside of his box? What is the secret to think outside the box? The big secret. Einstein once said, the bad thing about the people, or the pity, is that the people unlearn to wonder. We have to wonder. You know, there are things outside which we cannot explain. If we open our eyes, we will see things we cannot explain. And all the things we cannot explain are lying outside of our box. And when we start to collect things which we do not understand, we break the lines of our box, we break our limitations. And so when I was at school and started to go to the university, I had a booklet like Einstein had it. And in this booklet, I wrote down the things I do not understand. And this is a start. If you are collecting the things you do not understand, why is there a dark side of the moon? Why is the moon not spinning? What's about the magnetic field of the Earth? In school, we are told that the inner core of the Earth is very hot, about 5,000 degrees C. Yeah, and in school, we are also told that the core of the Earth uh, generates the magnetic field of the Earth. But there's no material at 5,000 degrees C which has any magnetic moment, any magnetic force. So we learned contradictory things which don't fit. And when you start to collect those things you do not understand, if you start to collect things that do not match, you put on some dots outside of your box. So most people, if they see something which they do not understand, what are they doing? They just look in the other direction. They are confused by things they do not understand and just look away. But we have to look on things we do not understand. And after some time, we may start to connect the dots. And by that, we will break our box. So it doesn't mean that we are not in another box, but in the other box, the other box is bigger. And in this other bigger box, we might now have the opportunity no. come on here. No, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So outside the box, we are able to generate solutions we are not able to generate inside our box. And if we want to get the solution for our problem we have these days, we really have to expand our mind, our map of reality. Otherwise, we are caught in a box where we will have no answer to the challenges we have at the moment. You understand that? And then I start, how is it possible that the Simpsons predict in 2000 about Trump what will happen 15 years later? Exactly. How is it possible that some songs of Pink Floyd gave us a kind of crystal ball inside or a prophecy? What will happen in some 40 years later? So when we discuss that with normal people, they will make fun out of us. But exactly like Karina just said, we have to put away this feeling to be ashamed. So we have to ask the questions, how is this possible? And then we might ask the question, is it possible that there is a higher dimension? And from this higher dimension, there is a survey about past, present, and future. Is it possible that there was a high developed civilization who built the pyramids, who become aware that they are doomed, and left us an information, left us a master plan, which we have to decode and adapt and break free. It sounds weird, but inside of our box we will not find a solution for the challenge we have at the moment. Does it sound reasonable? Yes, it's crazy, but does it sound more or less reasonable, even if it's crazy? But I think it's more crazy that we just give up, we just give in and say, okay, I take the injection. Does it sound reasonable that there must be a solution, there must be a way out of this cage? Even if it sounds absolutely crazy, that there might be help from a higher dimension. They might design the master plan, how we escape, how to escape. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, but it might be our chance. It might be the solution. And before we give in, I think it makes sense to follow this master plan. What do you think?
Andreas, you are talking sometimes about movies, that movies are telling us messages, that they have messages.
Yes.
And I was also thinking about the movie 12 Monkeys with Bruce Willis.
12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys. It is from the 90s. And it is also a movie about him, Bruce Willis, who is in the who is in the future and is going to the past to save mankind. And it is also very interesting that this is really real. The messages that and Interstellar is a movie that is showing that it is positive, but 12 Monkeys kind of manipulated me then it is not possible. It will still be like that the way it is, that there's a destiny that is there. But it is for me not reasonable to really think that there's no other way, because there must be a way. We have so much potential. We are on the scale. If you just see the top of the pyramid in us, we are more, and we're just blind and not seeing it.
Yeah. So for you, it is reasonable that there are some messages from high dimension transferred via movies, pieces of music,
Of course.
which will,
There's
yeah,
there's also one movie that also inspired me. It is quite new. It came out during the Corona crisis when the movies were closed, and you can see it on YouTube if you pay. It's called The Hunt,
okay,
and it's really inspiring it because it is about uh, a high elite group who are finding people who are on conspiracy theory on YouTube, who are like openly about this complot theories.
yeah,
And this group of elite is hijacking them, and are on a place like a mansion, and there's a lot of space, and then they hunt them. And
okay,
then there's one woman who's also caught, but she has got no YouTube channel. She's not a conspiracy theorist. She was just caught accidentally, like it was a mistake. And
hmm,
she was the one who was like showing us how to do it. It is not about talking anymore about what is happening, but really doing something, finding our way, that we are no slaves.
okay. And in a nutshell, what did she do? What did she propose?
She was acting like Sun Tzu. She was really following the rules of Sun Tzu. She was not talking to people, she was just analyzing them. And then she got her solution, what to do.
Okay,
She was different than the others. They all died, but she survived in the end.
okay. So, and Sun Tzu uh, showed the way.
Yes,
Yeah,
because she understood that this group, they don't have rules. They all the rules that the others are thinking are still there. There are no rules, and she realized it. So she took her step to do what has to be done.
okay. So, in a nutshell, they use no rules.
Yes.
They just press the rules upon us that we stick to the rules and lose.
Yeah.
So,
We are naive, and it was shown so good. All those people, they were really so naive. They really were into emotion. If there's some emotion, they just believe that it must be true. If someone is so emotional and telling it, they just believed. And she was different. She was always analyzing them. She got her instinct. She was believing in herself. She only heard to herself. She didn't look around. What were the other people doing?
okay. So, like me.
Yes.
Okay, makes sense. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. I think if we analyze our enemy, we may come to the conclusion that our enemy more or less sticks to no rules. There are perhaps some rules like the enemy has to declare war on us, and maybe the Georgia Guidestones or the Deagle list is a kind of declaration of war. But that's all. And if you want to be successful in war times, you have to get away all the rules. But because the rules will limit you. Are you saying that, Karina?
Yes, I'm saying that. This is also thinking outside of the box. We were always taught to be calm, to be like, you have to fit in. So it was not able to really think outside of the box.
Okay,
But to survive, there's like, this is not a normal situation we are right now. So it was nice being always kind and calm. But right now, you have to see that this top of the pyramid has not the best interest for you, for us. We are cattle, just like you showed today in the video about the cattle who was brought to the slaughterhouse.
okay.
We are
So
now on the farm anymore.
okay, so I'm quite curious. How did you manage to get so far, to get all this insight? What happened to you? What was special with you?
um, I don't know if it was like the start of everything, but 5 years ago, I went to Peru and had 7 ayahuasca ceremonies,
Okay,
and after that, I felt different. It was not like my life changed or everything, but slowly, surely, I I got different. I was like more. I was, of course, I was me, but I was more me. I was showing it. I don't know how to explain it because these things that I saw when I was ayahuasca, I cannot put it on words. So this is why you have to experience to know. There's no words. Even if I would try to explain it to you, you can ridicule it. So I cannot
okay.
tell with my words.
Okay, you can't put it in words, but if you would put it in words, what your visions were during this ayahuasca seminar ceremony, what did you saw? What did you
Well, on
see?
the I can give a brief conclusion. On the
Yeah.
first night, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything. After the first session, we were talking in the group with the shaman, and everybody was telling what they were seeing. And I was so angry because I didn't feel and see anything. I was really so angry that I came all the way for this experience. No, thank you. So the shaman said to me, "All right, now I see what kind of person you are," and he saw me like a daughter. I have to say, like in the
Yeah.
second ceremony, it was very powerful, and I had the best time of my life. I have never felt such confidence and strength. I didn't feel any fear, any pain. I was like, there were some cockroaches on the floor. I wanted to play with them. I didn't have this fear that this is also kind of fear if you like get the ick of some insects. I was fearless. It was such a powerful moment for me. I've never felt like that. And then there were some ongoing ceremonies, and on the sixth ceremony, I felt very confident. I could move. I could easily go to my room and have a walk. Before that, I was just not capable of anything. I was just down to the floor. But during the ceremonies, of course, it was like they say one ceremony is like 7 years of psychotherapy, and in psychotherapy, the only thing you do, you analyze yourself all the time. And so during the ceremonies, I went a lot through my history and through my future. And of course, I also saw, like I told you before, about the engineers, that they were not human. And I didn't see them really like aliens or anything, but I saw them like as very intelligent, but uniformed. They were all the same engineers. And they took us, we were raw material, we were still us, but they refined us. If I can put it, they made us like very small and like hurtful. if you just touch us, we're like, you know, blown away. So I saw that they put everything that was on top of us that made us so strong, they put it away. That's why they refined us like a diamond. If the diamond is raw, it's stronger, it's like stable. And this is why, for me, the society is the way it is. It is so scared because it's so vulnerable, because all this that protected us has been put away from us.
Okay.
But it's no problem. I saw that also. It's no problem to take it back because it's only in our head.
Okay, it's funny. So people always told me I'm an unrefined diamond. Okay. Um, Thank you for that. Um, yeah, I think our potential is much higher, and we unlearned what our potential is all about. And yes, by looking on the things we do not understand, I think this is a way out of our cage. And you know, there is no system where you cannot escape, where our potential is too limited to escape. And if we cannot escape inside the box of the theories we have been conditioned to think they are true, we have to find new theories. And by new theories, we will get a set of action how to escape. And it sounds ridiculous, yes, I know, but suppose there is a higher dimension, and there was a civilization which was doomed and really left us all the information we may gather to find the way outside of our prison. It sounds absolutely ridiculous, yes, I know. But what do we have to lose? At least we make a stand and say we are human beings. We are not slaves. We will now allow nobody to enslave us. And we will have a stand. For myself, I do not see me as a slave. Who looks on himself to be a slave? Who of you think you have to accept an injection when you are forced to get it? Who of you will accept an injection? Who of you will oppose to an injection? Whatever will happen, I will oppose an injection. They will not get me. I am not a slave. And I think this is important, like the other guy told it in our other Zoom conference. So he has an auto-suggestion. He told himself, I'm not a slave, I'm a free human being. I'm not a slave, I'm a free human being. But I think many people now accept to be a slave because the mask is more or less a symbol to be a slave. If there's no reason to wear a mask, and it will only force you to breathe back your exhaust gas, your toxins. What happened to people that they accept to rebreathe their toxins, to rebreathe their exhaust gas? What's wrong with these guys? What's wrong with these guys thinking really about to accept an injection where they don't know anything about the ingredients. Okay, so the third step in trivium is rhetoric. But rhetoric has nothing to do with manipulating people. Rhetoric is all about to seek the right words, metaphors, to make our model of reality to be understood by others. So it's important that the things we understand, we talk about those things loud, not silent. It's not about to write something down. It's all about that we have to speak about the things we do understand. It's all about vibration, and by vibration we connect the neurons in our brain. And the things we do understand, when we talk about those things, we design the ways, the pathways in our brain. We connect our neurons. And this is our knowledge, this is our understanding. We have to speak about the things we do understand. Even if other people think we are fools, we have to speak about the things we do understand. Who of you know this guy, Stephen Covey? He wrote this best-selling book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Does anybody know it? Stephen Covey? So his teaching was learn it, teach it, do it. First you have to understand it, to learn it, and then you have to teach. You have to speak about the things you understand. And the better you are connecting the neurons in your brain, the better you will perform the things you do. So it sounds a little bit weird, but it makes really sense to teach the things you understand to other people. And if it doesn't resonate to other people, your learning might not be good enough. Your understanding might not be good enough. So it's really important that the things you understand, you have to teach to others. However, you have to select those others. It might not be your brother and sister and mom and dad or uncle or your neighbor. It might make sense to search, to look out for other people who resonate to your thinking. It makes sense to look around and travel. You have to get other people with whom you really can talk about the things you understand. Otherwise you are alone. And many of us feel alone because we think our neighbors and family should understand what we think. But maybe they are not the right people.
Can I
And
say
then,
something?
yeah,
Because you had a video about words that you should use some words more often, and you
yes,
said this word playfulness,
yes,
and it's really true. Like, for example, with brothers, sisters, mother, family, friends, neighbors, that you are like on a daily basis, you have to do it playful. Just like I said, they are also asking you some questions that are not interesting,
yeah,
but you just answer. So you can just do it playful.
yeah,
Don't be stubborn.
yeah. And this is what I'm doing here in the Zoom conferences. I do it in a playful way. Not so serious. Otherwise, it wouldn't work. Yeah. And however, there are many really stubborn people who really do not resonate to playful information. Yeah. So, yeah, one thing is to improve your communication skills. And the other thing is you have to look out for those people you really can communicate in a reasonable way. And for this reason, we are now gathering in Canton a group of people who are open-minded. Nobody's perfect. Yeah, we have all a big potential to improve. However, we start to improve. We start to teach our brothers and sisters, the people who are in Canton, about the things which lead us the way to our escape, to freedom. And it's all about, we have to be a group, yeah, which in a way, like in chemistry, is a crystal. It's a starting crystal, yeah, which may grow. But you have to establish a starting crystal to start a big process. Yeah, but you have to be a group which show the world this is the way it works. And you cannot do it alone. And you cannot do it with normal people. You have to really find a group with really open-minded people. And so from movies and pieces of music, I'm decoding this is the way we have to do. And there are several indications in the work of Pink Floyd that we have to gather ourselves in Canton. I would I tell you that I do understand everything, but I know that I will understand more and more if I go down the process. You have to start the process. You have to be prepared to go down the street in order to know the way. You will never ever know the way if you do not start to go. If you are not prepared to do the first step. So this is something of being courageous. Just go. You don't know what will happen. And like there was intention that I played this piece of music by Pink Floyd, Us and Them. We are only normal men. And we do not choose. God will choose what we have to do. But we will do it. And this is, we have to trust in God. We have to trust in a higher being. We have to trust in a higher dimension. And those civilizations who stopped trusting in a higher dimension, they are doomed. They will not survive. And it's not that people say, I trust in God, I believe in God. This is just moving of lips. But really believe in a higher dimension. So means that there's a plan designed and ruled out for us. And it's not that this God, this being from higher dimension tells you what you have to do. It's not about meditation and all the information will be received by you. If you trust in a master plan from a higher dimension, you have to go and you must have the intention to decode this plan. And if you start decoding this plan, it will, from a special moment in time, start to really make sense for you. And this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. I had an idea, I had a feeling there is a plan. There's a being from a higher dimension who really knows what's going on. And it's exactly the way Alexander Laurent put it in words, or described it. The challenge is that this information from a higher dimension must be received by us and not by this artificial intelligence or by some alien beings. It must be coded, hidden information, which might only be received by us, which are exactly information that only are decodable by us. And there must be open-minded people who start the process. There must be leaders. It's all about leadership. There must be people who accept, yes, I'm a leader. I will participate in this process from the very start. I will not wait till the moment where every fool sees the things how they are. I think Sun Tzu put it in words, it's not a special, it's not special if you hear the sound of I think thunder. It's not special to see sunlight. But it's special if you see the things from the very beginning. Did anybody of you once read the novel of Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist? Okay? So it's important to see the very first signs. Yeah, this is all about alchemistry. But there are not so many people who see the first signs, who are able to see the first signals. So it's easy to hear the thunder. It's easy to see the sun. But that's not special, and that has nothing to do with leadership. So you understand why leadership is so important. It's so important that those who are capable to see the small things, to see the things which are more or less invisible to the majority of the people, to be conscious of those things and start the process and start to go down the road. And only leaders will do that. Only leader will start to go down the road if they just have an idea. There's nothing on the table, just an idea. But there are no so much people who believe in ideas. There are so many people, they join the process when it's more or less done. When they see the prototype, when they see everything is fine and you have a beneficial idea, it will generate a lot of money and many people will join then. But the leaders are those who start the process, who believe in ideas, who believe in themselves and their power to put ideas into products, into reality. So we have to gather leaders in Canton. Those who accept their responsibility. Learn it, teach it, do it. So manipulation of words. So in Germany we have this word therapy. Yeah. Is it possible that the word therapy actually arises from the word terra for earth or soil, minerals, and the word phi for the golden balance, for the golden number, for the perfect equilibrium? And you just put out one R and change a little bit the position of the H, and then from therapy you get the word therapy. Or Donna's just gone, we are just Germans here. Caesarean, yeah. In Germany we call it Kaiserschnitt. Yeah. Caesarean sounds quite nice, just the king is able that his boy or girl may be cut out of the womb of his wife and may be saved. So there's so much about manipulation of words. So who of you would be fine if somebody tells you, shall we cut out your baby from your womb? The word Caesarean or Kaiserschnitt sounds quite nicer, but this is word manipulation. Oh, in former times, those babies or those people who were cut out of the womb of their mother were called Schnittlinge. It doesn't sound so nice, is it? But maybe it's more to reality. Or it's interesting, we have this German word for love. What is the German word for love? So Donna, did you know that the German word for love is lie be? May the lie be. Yeah? Is it possible when some German tells a German woman, ich liebe dich, then actually he tells his woman, may the lie be. Möge die Lüge sein. And it's interesting to go down to old language. So in the old word for love or Liebe is Liebe. So it's interesting if you use in German the word Liebe, ich liebe dich, oder Liebe. What sounds stronger? What sounds more powerful? Liebe or Liebe? Do you think the word Leobar has power, has a special frequency? And this is how our language deteriorates gradually. So it really makes sense to look on old languages. And our organization we call Ursprung. Yeah. It's a kind of origin, the origin in English. Yeah. And in German, you actually write this word with a G. However, if you look in old language, in the old German language, Ursprung is written with C. This is why, yes, I'm interested in old language. And so Ursprung, written with C, is the former word, the original word of Ursprung. And that's why I do the things I do. And I sometimes look in the old language, or we call it Althochdeutsch, Old German language. And it's really a source of very powerful information. You know, in school, I was the absolute loser in language. So in mathematics and chemistry, I had you would call it A plus or A double plus, something like that. So it was 1.0. Yeah, and in German I had a 5. I was really a bad pupil in language. However, after some years, I become aware how important language is. How important it is that you put your thinking in the right words, in strong words, and strong metaphors. So trivium is the thinking system of free human beings. You are not able to be free without using trivium. Philip K. Dick, I don't know whether you know this guy. He wrote some science fiction, and he said, as a quotation by him, the basic tool for the manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. If you can control the meaning of words, you can control the people who must use these words. So another saying is, never use the words designed by your enemy. Find your words. Never ever copy the words of your enemy. What's that? My close tonight with a quotation by Bernard Russell. Most people would rather most people would rather die than think, and many do so. Though it might make sense to think. And I think those who are prepared to get now the injection might not think enough or not hard enough. They might have to learn trivium. Okay, for your knowledge, on Friday night, Saturday morning, our time, your time, Friday evening, we will start a Zoom marathon, which will last 1 month. So 1 month, 7 days a week, we will be on Zoom and teach the people of the world how to escape this prison. And I invite you to join this process. And I think there are a lot of smart people now in our Zoom conferences. And I think it's important that we really get out the information. And we have to get the information at any location on the planet. We have to join. And together we stand, divided we fall. And we have to stand. If we do not stand, nobody will do it. Okay? Thank you that you are here. Have a big hug. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
night.
you. Good night. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Thank
Good
you,
night,
everybody.
all.
Good night,
Bye.
everybody.